Hey, it's Natalie with the Think Yourself Academy. Today we're talking about Yellowstone. That Dutton Ranch, lots of lessons, quotes, favorite parts, and mainly a lot of deep thoughts. I've always followed each episode that I keep thinking about our reality. This is not necessarily what we live here. The Dutton family, you might have heard, there was prequel seasons also with the 1883 show, 1953, and somehow they are not really good people, but we get attached to them. Like they're committing crimes, they're manipulating the local government, they get rid of people who threatens the existence of their Yellowstone Dutton Ranch. And yet somehow they're protecting what they've built. They're protecting what is worth having. And it's an amazing series full of real life existing catastrophes and injustices that were lived in back in the days. If you've watched 1883 as well, or even today. So the first quote that I want to bring is from John Dutton. It's the one constant in life. If you build something worth having, someone's going to try to take it. Isn't that true? That whatever it is that we do, there's always one person that will try to take it from us, that will be jealous, or that will try to bring us down. So whenever you're on top, you feel on top of the world and you've done something great, there's somebody that might, because of their own insecurity, will come and try to take this win that we just got. So just remember that it is a constant in life. Another quote that I like is from Rip. He says, there's sharks and there's minnows. And if in this world, and if you don't know which one you are, then you ain't a shark. I actually had to Google it because I know what a shark looks like, but I didn't know what a minnows look like. It looks like this. If you're not listening to the podcast and you're watching the video behind me, you can see the picture. So he's talking to Jimmy, actually, our poor little Jimmy. And he's saying, at the end of the day, there's sharks and there's minnows, and if you don't know which one you are, then you ain't a shark. So somehow it talks about the character, and it talks a lot about Rip, one of my favorite characters, because he does have an incredible trust and loyalty for the Dutton family. So John Dutton found him when he was a kid. He was hiding in the barn, and he was taken as a farmhand, and he became kind of part of the family, regardless of their feelings for him, because he was not always really well treated, and even in the latest series, but he will do anything that is being asked of them, being asked of him. So this is incredible loyalty that it doesn't matter that you don't understand all the parts, you can still give your loyalty, even if sometimes at work you don't feel that you want to give your 100%. Think about Rip, everything that he's going through, and he's 100% loyal. So that's kind of a good lesson in itself. John Dutton talks about Beth. He talks about his children, and he says, I had 4 kids. One that I miss, and he's talking about his first son that passed right at the beginning of the series. And then he said, one I regret. The one that he regret, of course, Jamie, that keeps getting against him and going against him over and over, and is kind of always against what John is trying to do. So he has been betrayed so many times by Jamie. It says also one I pity. So the one he pity in that episode is Jamie, because Jamie just lost one of his son. So he's saying, I had 4 children. One child I miss, one child I pity, one I regret, but one I envy. That one, and he's talking about Beth, what it must feel like to be that free. Because Beth is free. She does not care. She does whatever she wants. She's one of those really, really powerful and careless, intelligent, smart, and yet so bad. It's so bad. And there's so many bad things about this series, and yet we get attached to these characters. And one of the reasons why she became the way she is, and just before I get into that next lesson, I just want to bring this, what it must feel like to be that free. So sometimes when you feel like you cannot express yourself, when you feel that you are maybe keeping it for yourself and not speaking up, think about what Beth would do. So maybe that's going to give you a little boost without going overboard like she does. Maybe keep it keep it within the realm of what is acceptable. I'm just saying that we can all use a little bit more Beth in our life, I guess. The next lesson from Beth is, she says, I made 2 decisions in life based on fear, and they cost me everything. So we learn later on this season why Beth is the way she is, and she's angry. She's had lots of losses in her life, and I don't want to spoil it for anything, so I'm not going to give too much information. But the decisions were made based on fear, and they cost her everything. So let's make sure that when we make decisions, it's not based on emotion. Decision must be made out of your knowledge, your expertise, when you are at your best. And that's what I do. I help people get rid of the panic button, remove the emotions so that they're not blurred by emotions when they make decisions. Because decisions are expensive if you don't make the right one. So another lesson from Beth, she says, I think heaven is right here, and so is hell. So somehow you can find which one you want. You could see hell or you could see heaven. And it is true that we are facing very hard truths in that series. There's lots of injustices. Just when I think of Monica and Casey, actually, that went with Monica, that left the ranch for her, created some friction just because of the differences between those who were there before, and it's all true. It's how even today there's still a lot of problems with reservations, women disappearing. There's lots of social injustices still happening, and we see all of this. It's all part of the reality that we get to learn in the show. One thing that John Dutton says, that, do you know what they say about cowboying? If it was easy, then everyone would do it. And it's the same thing with everything that's worth having. If it was easy, everyone would do it. So next time that you feel maybe a little tired, or not wanting to give your max, or not wanting to give your all, or just wanting to give up and being discouraged, just remember that if it was easy, everybody would do it. And sometimes it's worth giving the extra effort, because after that, you feel so much better. Remember when Jimmy, that was transferred into a different ranch, was trying with the rope all night. He stayed up all night to try to maneuver the rope. Like there's so many examples of determination and perseverance. And finally, one of my favorite quote as is governor going to be impeached, and now the reporters all want to talk about this, but he really wants to talk about the reservation and the real issues that are there. And he says, don't worry about the circus. Keep your focus on the issues of today, because they will still be issues tomorrow. So whenever you're choosing onto where you pay attention to, what portion of your mind you use, focus on the things that really matter and that will still be there tomorrow. The problems that really need to be solved, those that are on top of the list, instead of getting sidetracked with a lot of things that don't even matter. So don't worry about the circus. Keep your focus on the issues of today, because they will still be issues tomorrow. So whatever matters now that will matter tomorrow, that's what you want to focus your time on. So thank you so much, Yellowstone, for so many lessons. I could talk and talk and talk for hours about this show. Yet I am not even sure who's right, who's wrong. I think that everything is wrong about this show. And at the same time, we get really attached to the characters, and there's lots of learnings. And at the end of the day, it is a TV show. So let's not take that too seriously, but just let's pull the lessons. And I hope you had a great time with my blog this week with the Yellowstone lessons from the Dutton Ranch.